Greetings and salutations. It's David Duford here at davidduford.com, where I coach, train, and mentor new and experienced agents to become top producing insurance agents. And today, I have the unfortunate pleasure of delivering you the depressing news about having a career in the insurance business. The truth is, it is a tough gig selling insurance, no matter if you're selling life insurance, health insurance, P&C insurance, or whatever. It is a difficult proposition that very few people can actually survive. And what I intend to do in this video is to give you the depressing truth about selling insurance and what you can possibly do to overcome this. Now, you might be thinking, Dave, why are you starting off with such a negative proposition? Well, I like to keep it real. I like to be the professor of the harsh reality that is insurance sales. And for you guys that are new especially, let you know exactly what to expect before you decide to dive in, so you know exactly what you're getting into before you make potentially a critical error that will have resounding effects on your career and your life. So first of all, the first point I want to make here about the insurance career is that most of you listening out here will fail. I hate to say it. I hate to be the messenger of bad news, but the statistics show that somewhere in the neighborhood of 90 to 95%, there's going to be all sorts of numbers between there, that 90 to 95% of agents within the first year will fail out. Now, there's all sorts of reasons why. We will get to those in a minute, but it doesn't matter. That is the statistic. That means that you watching this have to be the 1 out of 20 or the 1 out of 10 that make the difference. So before you get into this business, you have to ask yourself, what makes you different than the rest? And you got to be really sober and honest about it. A couple things I teach my agents is you've got to have a market that you want to target. You've got to have a prospecting system to put you in front of that market. And you've got to have a track to run on when it comes to your appointment setting and presentation and closing skills. You have to have someone to learn it from. And all of this, even having this, isn't even a guarantee. You still have the odds stacked against you. But the point is, even with odds this bad, you really need to make sure that you are well prepared before you get into it, because the odds are pretty high that you won't make it. Hopefully you will make it, but you might as well understand the truth. Point number 2 is that you will face rejection. If you have been through life and most people have been agreeable to you, wait till you start selling insurance. It's amazing. All of a sudden, even your best of friends won't have anything to do with you. When they start seeing your Facebook posts about how you can help take care of final expenses, ensure their final expenses that come from paying off debts and mortgages and income replacements, your friends quickly abandon you and you find that you're all alone. Maybe I'm a little bit too extreme, but hopefully you get the point. Nobody wants to talk about insurance. Well, not nobody, but the majority don't. In fact, agents that I recruit to my program, where we predominantly sell what's called final expense insurance, we're lucky to have 25% of them say no. That means 75% of them, in other words, tell my agents to go to hell. And if you've never had to deal with that, if you've never had anybody give you any adversity in life, you're going to have a big wake-up call. You're going to hear no's to an exponential amount more than you're going to hear yes. And in fact, like I said, if you hear yes 1 out of 4 times, that means no's 3 out of 4 times in presentations or your leads. You're pretty good. You're actually a great agent. So you've got to weirdly deal with this paradox that success can be done or can be accomplished in the minority of times that you deal with people. So anyways, moral of the story, expect rejection, embrace it. And or you better learn how to, otherwise it's going to be very difficult on your ego and psyche. And trust me, I would know. I've heard no's thousands of times selling in the field. Number 3, the unfortunate reality of this business. I've been recruiting since 2014 agents to my agency. I've sold as a final expense agent since 2011. So I can tell you on both sides of the deal, the vast majority of agencies stink. It doesn't matter if you're going to work with these big brand name marketing organizations that put up a bunch of ads on Craigslist, ZipRecruiter, Monster.com, even people if you've been referred in, the likelihood is fairly high that you're starting out with an agency that's going to have some sort of angle that is not to your benefit. Perfect example. The vast majority of marketing organizations, in other words, large agencies that recruit you in and train you to sell whatever it is they're selling, are multi-level marketing oriented. What I mean by that is that they go by the mantra that if you have a pulse, they will hire you. And they don't spend as much time qualifying the agents to pick the best picks. And not only that, but they do very little training. They throw you into lead programs that aren't necessarily the most optimal. They try to make everything and everybody fit them without any sort of qualification to better determine what agent is best fit for them. So I say all of this because naturally, in a multi-level marketing recruitment fashioned type of organization that recruits tons and tons of agents, it's very likely that most of them will just wither away. They won't sell much of anything. And the whole process repeats itself over and over. Literally, the revolving door spaghetti, throw it up against the wall method is the deal. So if you're looking at this business and you haven't started, you're actually in a blessed position. You do have the opportunity to do your research and make sure whatever you do end up doing is going to be in your best interest. So I say all this because, again, to remind you, I don't want to be the bearer of bad news. I want to be the professor of harsh reality. You need to know exactly what you're expecting when you're getting into this business. And you may be wondering, well, Dave, thanks for telling me the problems. So how do I overcome these issues? Well, first of all, the best thing you can do is take your time. This business isn't going anywhere. You need to vet the people that are recruiting you. And what you'll notice is if you start vetting them and they become uncomfortable, disrespectful to you, or even if they shut you down or tell you you're not man enough, if you are asking questions and you don't put total trust in a total stranger, if they start insulting your character, you got a pretty good indication that that is something that you want to run as far away from as possible. The good agencies understand and probably came from this perspective already and survived it, and so they appreciate when somebody asks them the tough questions. Like, for example, am I captive? Am I independent? Am I 100% vested from the first day? What's the requirements for me to get higher levels of commissions? Why should I work for you versus another organization? Just basic questions like that should not put off a good agency. They should be able to define and answer all those questions and tell you specifically their thoughts and opinions in a sober manner without any sort of aggression or anger. And the other thing, too, is that if you can overcome this difficulty, this business is a wonderful thing. I have friends in the business that have been in for 5 years, 10 years plus. And if you can stick it out and do well, the opportunities and just the wealth that comes from it, not wealth in a financial sense per se, but just wealth in the quality of life, to have a great life. I'm at the point in my career now where I've done this for 8 years now. The vast majority of my income is passive because I've built an agency where I've taken these concepts of transparency and recruiting agents and put them into an environment that allows those kind of agents that appreciate that to thrive. And with consistent effort, 5 years later, from when I started, now I don't have to personally produce to make the income that I need to live and survive and thrive. So this is what this business provides that no other business does. And this is the bright side to the depressing truth about the reality, is that if you can survive, if you can get through what the vast majority of people will fail from, you'll find on the other end of this, there is an opportunity to do things that our buddies in corporate America never will. To spend time taking your children out to their events, to see their events, to spend more time with your spouse, to create better relationships, to go on vacations whenever you want to, wherever you want to not be restricted to 2 weeks of vacation a year, to not answer to anybody, to just answer to yourself and, your wife, of course, and your spouse, and making sure they're happy. That's certainly sure of things. But that's the point of this, is that you have a wonderful, great opportunity if you can get through this depressing truth. And I hope this helps you out, and I will invite you, if you're interested in selling insurance and you've given final expense, annuities, and other products that we offer at my agency a thought, to check out what we have to offer to see if my program is a good fit for what it is that you're looking to do. It's very simple to learn more about how the program works, you can go to davidduford.com, click on Join Dave's Agency to learn more about all the different programs and sales and marketing systems that I offer, so you can pick the best one that works for you. And I work with new agents, experienced agents, young agents, fresh out of high school even. I got a guy who's 19, 20, 21 years old that's doing really well, to agents up to their 70s and 80s even I still work with. They're literally still kicking around selling. So I don't discriminate. If you want professional help and you want to become the best you can be, you and I need to talk. So go to davidduford.com to learn more. And thank you for watching. Make sure to comment below and subscribe if you haven't. We'll see you around. Peace.